Come in.
He's not there.
No, he's there.
The Keebs?
The Keebs. Well, I don't know if he knows that the Keebs is being.
What is the Keebs?
Do you know that the Keebs is being displayed before you come on?
So we have another symbol to discuss.
We have another.
Yeah. Sure. The Keebs. My wife is my Keebler. Yeah, by accident. She's my Keebler elf, and I nicknamed it, but that is hers. No, my Brad Congress for some reason didn't transfer over. I got to work on that. Sorry.
All right. Well, that's okay. Oh, there it was. All right.
Okay. Well, we forgot to mention that his wife Colby is in also.
Right. Well, there is his wife Colby.
There she is.
There's Colby.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Thank you for playing that song. It was fabulous.
Oh yeah, man. I wish I could. I'll find the other one. I'll find "I'm Your Captain" because that was just. I mean, it was a long song, and when we learned it for played Germain Arena. In fact, we played Germain Arena.
Actually, you did Universal at Orlando first.
Yeah, but did we play that there? I'm Your Captain? No, I'm Your Captain.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe we did. I don't know if that band, but I remember having to learn that song as a kid, because we were going to play it in the band, and then to actually play it with Mark was like, whoa.
I would think
It's one of the best songs.
Yeah, I would think we did it there too. We probably did that. But listen, it's rock and roll. I wanted you to have a little rock and roll in your life today, guys.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Okay, so
well, first off, I was listening to a little bit of the show pre-hand, and someone mentioned the Prince symbol.
Me.
All right.
Of course it was Lori. She comes up with all the good stuff.
All right, me. You already beat me to the first grade out of the punch. That Prince symbol does have something to relate to a lot of fun stuff here.
Oh.
If you were to take a look at the Zodiac symbol for Venus.
Venus?
It is an Ankh. It is a circle on top with a cross on bottom.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. And would that be Libra?
What is that? No, Libra. I don't know.
Well.
Libra would be the scales.
Oh. Well, what?
Nah, isn't Virgo the scales?
No,
Virgo's the Virgin.
What is Venus?
Venus.
That'd be me.
Yeah, but when was somebody born if they're a Venus?
Oh, we're not doing the astrological signs, honey. We're doing the Ankh.
Right. In fact, we're actually going older than those signs because those date back to the Greek era. We're going to travel back in time to about 3000 BC.
So this is 3,000 years before Christ. That's like 5,000 years ago?
Okay, so there are some debated scholars that will even say that some of that may have traveled further from African continent into Kemet. So Africa and the mother, when Africa was even older, closer. Some have said back to 10 to 15,000 years.
Wow.
It really is. But we're going to concentrate on Egypt today because that really is where most of its intended glory is noted. The simple answer is, what's an Ankh? Well, boom, 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 Google, it'll tell you everlasting life. Real simple,
So wait, the Ankh is a symbol of everlasting life?
Right. That is the simple, basic answer. Also, it's known as in fact, if you look at the first image we have up, do you see how the Ankh is in the center and then there's the hands holding up a red disc?
Yeah.
That red disc is the sun, also known as the god Ra.
Ra, yeah, I know Ra. So
the Ankh itself, and you were talking about how do we spell the word? A-N-K-H.
Well, A-N-K-H. See, Lori didn't come up with the H. She just came up with A-N-K.
She's kind of still right. And the reason why is it is an image that has a sound attributed. It is right. It's actually three sounds connected into one statement. The Ankh, A, and then those flowing together, the three parts. And the reason why that's important about the three parts is because that's the whole thing of the Ankh. The round open portion on top, the elliptical, was to represent the divine woman. On the bottom, the divine masculine. And then in between, when they meet, there is the split. They create and mate and create life.
Right, the divine baby.
The divine baby.
Which is the
So how come the men wound up on the bottom? Not that I have a problem with that, but I'm just.
You know
you
what?
have to take an episode.
Wait a second.
Somebody from Egypt
I
5,000 years
have a
ago.
picture that some may say a controversy, but this is rock. We're allowed.
Yeah, right?
This
That's
picture right here, you see there's a woman on top that's really tall,
I do.
and then there's a guy on the bottom who's really lucky. Okay?
In between.
And then there's, right. So, I couldn't send this picture to you with it, because clouding it out. Anyways, I just want to show it to you. But the meaning of this picture is when the sky and wind, the god of sky and wind,
So the woman on top is the goddess
of sky.
sky.
And her name is Geb, G-E-B.
Geb?
Geb, G-E-B. And then on the bottom, the god of earth and stone came together, created fire, the divine spark. And this cataclysmic event spurred off many immediate astrological gods to them. And the astrological gods, one of them was the goddess Isis. And she was the divine feminine. And she brought many incredible things to the people of Egypt, as the mythology goes. So this three-part harmony was really important. And she's the one that held the
She
Ankh.
was the one that, and the Ankh was the key to
Everlasting
everlasting
life.
life, and only she had the power to give this,
Right,
according
So-
to the mythology.
right.
So I gotta get me one of those, right?
You know what? Not only you want to get one of those, we need to understand that symbol a little bit more, because it's really a big deal. Let's go to another picture. Let's see if we can find a tattoo.
Let's see who we got here. Oh, do we want to go there?
Not there yet. Not there yet.
Not there yet. How about? Oh no. How about this?
Okay.
That's
So
a
you see
Tattoo
what-
working?
Tattoo.
So you see that symbol of the Ankh in the back portion, and then we have the pyramid, and then we've got the Eye of Horus.
The Eye of what?
The Eye of Horus.
Oh,
Horus,
Horus. The Eye of Horus.
also known as the All-Seeing Eye.
All-seeing eye.
That's a huge tattoo.
Yeah, is that somebody you know?
Well, you know what? Hours in the clock of a day has something to do with this, and the pyramid keeping time has something to do with this as well.
Keeping time.
Yes, the world's first clock were the pyramids.
That's interesting. Oh, right, because of the shadows and all. Wow, man. But
Yeah.
it had to be difficult to wind those.
You know, it's kind of a bitch. It took about a year to get that thing going.
Really? All right. No, you're going the wrong way. Go the other way. You're unwinding it. That's. I mean, I'll tell you.
Go
ahead.
No, please. I want to ask.
I'm kind of fascinated by. I've seen the Ankh, and of course, when you're growing up, and especially in rock and roll, you see that symbol, and I know that it's the key to everlasting life, and it's the all-seeing eye, but as a kid, you just kind of say, all right, it's the all-seeing eye, and it's the key to everlasting life, but you don't really absorb the depth of it. If this is from 5,000 years ago, how does it how does something like that happen? I mean, what somebody run into to Egypt and say, "Hey guys, I just drew the Ankh."
So I'm going to fast forward a touch here to give you a couple of interesting facts about the Ankh.
Okay.
There are many anthropologists and what we call archaeoscientists, meaning scientists who study how they did things back in the old days. Archaeo, ancient. When they study certain symbols, they really look into them and say, well, what did they mean? Do they have a greater purpose than we understand? And one of the things that's really interesting about this Holy Trinity division multiplication symbol is it really kind of intuits the Big Bang Theory. Whereas you have harmony of movements, bodies, and then eventually they give weight and they collide. And when they collide, they create they create a multiplication of their own. This theory concept has been utilized, I mean, right there. You can see it inside of the Ankh now when you understand kind of the layers. Let's go to another image.
Remember the photo we showed of Jeb
Yeah,
on bottom.
bottom and up on top. I mean, well, the two gods coming together.
That's your version of the Big Bang Theory. And
Right.
That's where
All
some people say
creation.
whoever came up with this.
Right, because they're saying that's how the cosmos was created with this great moment. They call it the cosmic family.
Yeah, well, it's interesting enough. Let's see what we have here. Oh, another one of your friends.
Now, what if you notice that it's really common that there are multiple symbols when it works with the Ankh. Let's go to that one Earth, Wind, and Fire album that has all of the different ones.
Let's go back to this.
Right there. So
Oh,
isolate,
yeah.
on the very top, we have the all-seeing eye.
Right, that's the eye that was on the guy's tattoo, right?
Right. The one below it is what's called many names. Seal of Solomon, also known as a tricona, also known as the Star of David. I think I got 4 or 5 other names, but believe me, it's significant. Then to the immediate left is the Caduceus, the snake with the staff with the wings on it. We'll get in that. That's a whole nother story.
Is that the medical thing?
Pardon?
Is that the medical thing?
The medical thing, right. We'll get to that in another day.
Okay.
And then below that, there is an actual image of Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Then if we go over to after the Star of David, on the right-hand side, we have the Ankh. And then what's that last symbol? I can barely see it. I think it's a crown, but my eyes are not as great as they should be.
It looks like, wow, it looks like a cup or something. I could make it bigger if you want.
Yeah, I can't. My eyes are only so good. And then on the very bottom, at the 6 o'clock angle, you can see the Ankh as well.
Yeah, I see it again, and I see something that looks like a menorah.
So let's say we have all of these images. All those symbols create something that's a language trying to tell us. So what's it trying to tell us? Well, let me ask you a question right now. How many sides are on a pyramid?
How many sides are on a pyramid? 5?
Excellent guess. That's accurate. And the reason why that's accurate is because how many senses do we have?
Oh,
5.
How many flavors do we take? How many flavors? Let's break it down.
How many flavors?
Basic flavors. 5. Salt, sweet, tart. There are 5. These, the 5 senses and the 5 sides. 5's a big deal, okay? Because it offers the conical shape offers when light or energy comes down into the pyramid, it gets to amplify and bounce around. Let me borrow your red. I have a really good example here, a 3-dimensional live example of what it looks like inside of a pyramid from the bottom up.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's what it looks like, what the pyramid looks like from the bottom.
Right. It's flat, and then it goes context on inward, and then it creates, and we use this in diamond technology cutting all the time. That type of diamond is actually called an Asher cut. It's a square cut, and then it comes to a point on the bottom. So it's perfectly four-sided angles that come to a center point. And what happens is when you look at the light go downward, it bounces around and then comes back. It amplifies more light coming out than going in.
Is that why they cut diamonds like that?
Absolutely. To maximize the light brilliance.
Right.
And the type of light you see, not just white light, but we see prismatic light. Remember, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, white light goes in, prism comes out. There's a purpose for that, because when we prismatic light, we get a rainbow, and we start dividing it up. Well, there's lots of different types of energies out there. Some people think energy is you plug into a light socket, you turn on light, that's energy. Well, that's a type of energy, and it has been harnessed. But when we have, and by the way, this does relate to the Ankh, and we'll get to music in just a moment. I promise. I
know. I'm with you.
It takes a long time to
I
explain
brought
5,000 years
my
of
pick
history.
off because this is going to be an adventure in a minute. So when we have energy that comes into our Earth's atmosphere, because we do, we have all types of radio gamma, a multitude of radiations. When it comes in to the pyramid and absorbs into the limestone, what you and I can barely hear, in our ears, is amplified many, many times. As this ocean of reservoir of energy amplifies, many things can happen. There have been reports of people walking by the pyramid at certain times of the day where they can feel electrostatic charge that's so powerful that it makes them feel as if they are going to get shocked. There have been people actually shocked at the step and the foot of the pyramid before, many, many times. The reason why is there are times where different shapes will amplify energy. The Egyptian culture at this time understood how to harness these natural energies. Wireless light was available, as reported. Now, what's interesting is there have been scientific alternative people who put the test to it. There have been successes to some of these philosophies. So where do we get music? Well, we were talking about the key of life. There's all kinds of keys, aren't there?
Sure.
Like the key of E, and there's lots of vibrational keys. And how many keys do we have? Like 5?
Keys? Like keys of musical keys?
On countless because of alternative chords as well.
Yeah.
Alternative with keys, yeah. Maybe 6. Like
So-
the key of E, C, G, A, D. Am I missing one?
Well, there's F. There's key of F. There's,
So these keys work in vibrational harmony. These vibrational harmonies have been proven time and time again. Look at Tesla's notes. He actually used something called the Wardenclyffe Tower. That created incredible harnessed electricity with some of these same philosophies. Similar conical shape to a pyramid as well. There is sincere, honest power within pyramid technology. Russia, for years, has been pioneering, believe it or not, too. So,
well, look, I got to ask a question because
Yeah.
I marvel at the Egyptians and all the things that they did,
Sure.
but where did they? I got to ask myself where it came from. Like I said, some guy just didn't come in and say, "Hey, Pharaoh, check this out." How did these?
Maybe he did.
Okay,
Well,
maybe.
I know Louis is great. Well, you know, the
Gotta
thing,
start somewhere.
it does. Well, you know, I think that it would be a fair assumption to say, and I'm going to quote a very impressive person to me, an actual, an inspiration, a professor who helped me out along in life, Dr. Victor Showalter. He was a brilliant, brilliant professor. He told me that, you know, some people say that there's hocus pocus out there that we don't understand. You know, he called them morphic fields of scientific discovery not yet been discovered. Because he truly felt that there were reservoirs of power and generating power and harnessing it that were by far more simplistic and efficient than what we've ever tried to do here. And that type of, and to answer your question, he felt strongly that there had to be some variety of intervention of intellectual superiority to our own little feeble minds at that time.
So are we talking extraterrestrial?
He felt that it was not beyond the realm of possibility.
Because I mean, I can't wrap my head around what life was even like 5,000 years ago. Oh, hang on. Here comes our best of. I'll let him sit there for a minute. I can't even wrap my head around what life was like 5,000 years ago. I mean, I've been to the Roman ruins in Bath in England, so I understand, you know, to a certain degree that technology, but the Egyptians were a whole nother level. I mean, that was like, and then the Aztecs, didn't they use pyramids as well?
Very much so. And what's interesting is their formulas were different on how they constructed them, but there are ratios that are very much the same. So what's interesting, it's kind of like they got there from a different direction on their own. But I'll tell you something about the pyramids that most people do not fully understand. Oh wow, that's Elvis wearing an Ankh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But it didn't work for him.
You know what I was going to say something about what you were going to ask is, you know, people have always wanted to know, to try to explain what is not explainable. So these stories emerge. Some of them were based on things people saw, and some of these are things that people imagined and created based on whatever was, their observation, whatever was going on at the time. So I believe that, you know, they knew things that we don't know that they knew, and they created these symbols like the everlasting life, like the Ankh was to give people peace and harmony, balance, a sense of something beyond.
Rihanna certainly believes in it, which is a good thing.
Rihanna.
Yeah.
I mean, she's, you know, and there's got to be something to all. There's another one.
So I'm glad you brought that up. That is an interesting stylized form of the Ankh. It almost has two symbols that have been placed together, kind of like it looks like an oval on top. But then do you see that type of cross that's on the bottom? It's actually the shape of a T.
Yeah.
It's more of like a tau, T-A-U, with a little hook at the end. And the tau has another very unique significance of peace and strength.
Now, we're not talking about the Tao, right? T-A-O. We're not talking about that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know about that.
Yeah, I know. You see, you're up to your head.
Can I say? What can I say?
So
this is incredible.
I want to say something important here. Let's go to the Earth, Wind, and Fire CD. The other one, the big gold disc. Okay. That bird in the middle is a falcon.
Right.
And that was one of the forms that Princess Isis would take form of. And if you look in her feet, look at her claws of her feet. She is
she's holding Ankhs.
Ankhs. And then on the top there is a gold disc.
Is that Ra?
So this in combination, and by the way, gold was a symbol of the sun. It was considered to be a gift of the sun. And what's interesting about this term gift of the sun, most people don't know this. Gold does not grow on Earth. I'm going to repeat that because it makes this is going to take some moment, just a moment. Gold does not grow on Earth. It does not grow in this crystallographic form like a lot of other crystals. It was sent here literally billions of light years away by cataclysmic explosions and sent here from space.
Like it fell onto the earth.
It splashed into our atmosphere. And that is how we got gold. So it was a gift from the atmosphere.
Wow. You don't even think about that when you say gold doesn't grow on the earth. I don't think of gold as growing, you know what I mean? But I guess it's crystals, right? I mean, it's
Well, it's a metallurgical compound that happens to grow in a crystal. But remember, it's morphic. It can stretch. It can be melted. It can be reconstituted. It can be a bunch of things. It can be made in a flake so thin you can barely touch it. In fact, you can hammer out gold so thin that if you hold it up to a bright light, it looks exactly like that rose-colored, like kind of like a rose amber color that's around the gold sun.
interesting.
Wow.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's excellent stuff, man. Really,
And
that's
Earth, Wind, and oh, by the way, and the whole reason why I went there is Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's their name. You put it all together, that creates the Ankh.
The earth.
oh.
They were on to something.
And let me tell you, nothing breaks out a party better than Earth, Wind, and Fire. Everybody gets grooving. It's all about harmony,
Yeah, 3 harmonies at least, right?
at least.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's and now the bird, the falcon.
Yes.
I'm gonna. That was a big symbol. I remember from for one of those biblical movies. What's his name? The Pharaoh
Right.
was talking to a big black bird.
Yes.
Is that the same bird?
Well, so not to confuse your listeners and viewers, because it took me only 30 years talking to a professor in Egyptology and also another instructor in African studies today to be really comfortable with this next statement. They shared a lot of deity gods and a lot of influences between each other. So when we see one singular falcon like that in its what I call basic form, it is impossible to say it's absolutely this. But because it has the raw and the double folding of the
Double Ankh.
Ankhs, it creates a more semblance of, well, this makes sense that this is Isis, Queen, the goddess Isis, because she deserves that respect. There are others that will have different small details, bandits or many other, reliefs to clue you in, but it's a lot of detail. I'm not a master in it. I'm always an infant, but in this particular case, I'm confident.
Well, that's great.
The thing about the gold, that was good.
Yeah, the thing about the gold was awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, if there's more, I mean, we can always continue with this. I was going to ask. Oh, okay. So then part 2 next Monday.
If you want to, I'll tell you what, if we want to go to Pyramid Power next week, because it folds right in, it's all kind of into it, and believe me, you're going to want to hear it because it's fun. You're going to find out a few things.
Okay, Pyramid Power's on the way.
All right.
All right.
I'm all okay, man. Great, guys. That's amazing.
Really
That's
good.
really amazing. And it figures that it's all rock and roll.
It's all rock and roll.
There you go.
Hey, Beyonce too.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Hey, man,
Bye,
thank you
guys.
both.
Thank
Brad,
you.
Colby, we'll see you next week. I'll see you tomorrow, but we'll see you next week for the continuation of the Pyramid Power.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right,
See you
guys.
next week, guys.
Thank you, man.
All right, see you later.
Angus,
Yes,
what you got that's
How,
going to
how
top
cool
that?
was that, man?
that
Huh?
was very cool.